Hey, it's Nikki Blonsky from the movie Hairspray.
Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing a review and a comparison of the Miss Astronaut Barbie doll.
Who cares?
Now this Barbie doll is a reproduction. It's in a 1965 outfit of the Miss Astronaut Barbie outfit. Now, this is a already reproduced item. I guess it's for its 60th anniversary.
She's educated.
It's exciting that we have another opportunity to get another astronaut Barbie, as back in the day when the first reproduction came out, I had that one and I bought her at Meijer. Now, my doll came to me broken, so I only got to really keep the fashion from her. So we are going to do a fashion comparison between both reproductions. But this also is a Bill Greening doll as well. He worked on this doll before they made an egregious mistake and let him go.
And it's up to me to save his ass.
But we are going to open this up and we are going to see what this new Miss Astronaut Barbie has in store for us. Inside all of this tissue paper, we are going to find our doll. And there she is. First impressions. They did a really good job with this box. She does truly look out of this world. She's gorgeous. This is a really nice looking reproduction. Check her out. Very beautiful. And for some reason, like, this hair looks great. I think they did a really good job on the hair. She looks gorgeous. And look at the box. We've got a very grainy image of the astronaut Barbie illustration from the original book pamphlet. There it is, Astronaut Barbie 1965. Got her helmet there. We have the flag right there. It's for its 60th anniversary. And already I can see some differences from the vintage piece and the reproduction piece. Side of the box. We've got that beautiful pop art right there, which is really retro feeling, but at that time, this was considered modern. One tiny step for Barbie, one giant leap for doll kind. Light years ahead of her time, Miss Astronaut Barbie first went galactic in 1965 before any human in space. Since then, Barbie has traveled to the moon, Mars, and never stopped shooting for the stars in this faithful remake of the original Miss Astronaut Barbie doll. We celebrate 60 years in orbit and even bigger Barbie universes to discover. With her sleek silver suit, brown space boots, white helmet snug, and a bold red lip, 3, 2, 1, Miss Astronaut is ready for takeoff. No more than 20,000 made. We've got the same image on the back. And this is a very appealing box. This is very beautiful. It's very reminiscent of the original reproduction Barbie doll box. And honestly, you could put them side by side and you could see how different they were. And like I said, I had this doll when I was a kid, and my original reproduction doll, her leg was broken. And I called Mattel back then, and back then they would just send you money, and they sent me money for the doll. And the gag is I never got the doll again.
I am shocked and disgusted.
But I kept the outfit. Oh, there she is. Beautiful. I kind of actually want to keep this box because it's really pretty. Let's look at her on the card. We've got the plastic cello, which I can't wait to take off of her. It's supposed to keep her bangs down, but on my doll, it's almost past her bangs, so really it's not doing that much. But there we are. And we already see something very controversial that I first saw. when images were shown, but we're going to talk about it later. It's going to be okay.
It is so hateful.
Let's go ahead and get her off of the cardboard backing. Here, Barbie is completely out of her box, so let's go ahead and deep dive into this astronaut Barbie. So let's start off with her certificate of authenticity. If you really care about this crap, I don't.
Then do get on with it, please.
But for once, it actually is nice quality, and it's not super flimsy paper. It's actually a nice little cardstock paper. So cute. So let's go over some of her accessories. So she does come with her helmet right here. Now the vintage one you could pull apart, and I wonder if you could pull this one apart too. You might be able to, but I don't want to break it in case that's not the way that they have that designed. But it's supposed to go over her head, which, oh my God. It's a little bit of a difficult fit.
That's what she said.
Check it out. She does come with a stand. It is a black base stand that looks very similar to a number 2 and a number 3, number 4 stand. Ironically, the stand is the same stand that came out with the first reproduction of the astronaut Barbie. This I remember from my childhood. They were always with my favorite Barbie series dolls, and I loved them. But now I'm more partial to a Kaiser stand than what I am to these stands, as they do fall apart and they are pretty fragile whenever you put all of your dolls on them. Like, as you can see, all of my dolls are displayed on Kaiser stands. She does come with her American flag, which this is an exact replica of the same accessory that came with the first reproduction, and an exact replica of the original flag that came with Barbie at that time. And it's super nice. It is very flimsy, but so is the vintage piece. So they were really going for a accurate look whenever it came to every aspect of her, at least as possible as what they could. But let's go ahead and take a look at the doll. We're going to take her off her stand, which was a struggle to get her on. So I'm probably not going to use that stand ever again. So
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
anyway, let's go ahead and take this off now that we can. Ooh, girl. Oh, no wonder. Okay, so my one complaint about my doll in particular is that she is gelled to high heaven. She's got gel all over her face. Like, they were not sparing whenever it came to this gel. Like, her hair's all crunchy from the root to the tip. Here's a picture of my doll to prove that they did this with the lights off. Their eyes were closed. This was a hairdo provided by the 3 Blind Mice. I do like the cut of it, however. I think it is very accurate looking to a long-haired American Girl bin leg doll. Very nice. Of course, she does have the binned legs, so it's a good thing they've not forgotten how to make those, because, you know, it's been a while. If we look at her outfit, it does seem very accurate to an original, very much so. However, I will say the zipper appears to be different. Usually with these reproductions, like, they're really good at having little details. So her vinyl gloves, are actually reproduced pretty well. And these are the same vinyl gloves that appear to be on the original reproduction as well. They did not give her a manicure.
You're not getting any more filet mignon? Get out of my house.
That is a interesting choice, in my opinion. Also, I don't like the fact that they had double-sided tape on this fabric right here, because that's going to make it forever sticky. And you are able to kind of peel this off, but it's not really peeling off the best. And yeah, it's forever tacky. I don't like that. Should I get that off? Nope. Of course not. I'm not crazy about that. I understand that you have to do it for packaging, but I don't recall the original dolls being like that. Interesting. It's interesting whenever they make these packaging decisions, because You never really know, like as a collector, like what goes in their mind as far as whenever they're like, oh my God, how am I going to put this inside the box and how's it going to look like presentation wise and such. Like that in itself is a whole art form. But I think it's pretty safe to say, I think I remember correctly that the original reproduction did not have like the sticky tape on the garment itself. I don't remember that personally. Not saying that I have the best memory whenever it comes to that doll.
She's an old lady. I mean, look at her. She's old.
Here is another interesting decision. Making the boots, which originally were vinyl and originally had zippers on them, making them plastic all the way through. It's almost like what they did was they took a 3D scan of a actual boot and then went and actually like molded it and made it into a solid plastic boot so that they didn't have to do the zipper and everything. And I understand cost cutting, but this doll is $55. Like, I think we could have gotten a accurate boot to say the very least, because again, this doll was $55. This doll with, you know, hair shellac all over her face was $55. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Okay, we're gonna take this one off too. They're really stuck onto these feet. Now, the original reproduction also was a reproduction of an American Girl doll. This one looks far better than that one did, and that is because she's using a more accurate face mold to an American Girl doll than what the other one was. For the My Favorite Barbie series, if you do collect them, take a look at all of their vintage sculpts, because not all of the classic or nostalgic Barbie sculpts are the same. In the first initial wave, whenever they came out with the 1959 and the 1962 Barbie, they had the same sculpt, which was the sculpt, where it's bigger, it's nicer, and it's more voluptuous. However, for the 1959 Barbie, that's just simply not how she looked. So when it came to the wedding day set, they changed her face mold. And they went ahead and used that face mold for every single Barbie reproduction with the nostalgic face up until like maybe 2013, somewhere around there. I don't know why. It must have been a stylistic decision, because even the Let's Play Barbie dolls, those reproductions, they do use that early ponytail head mold, which doesn't really look that accurate whenever it comes to that doll from that era, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So they've actually gone ahead and corrected that, because the original reproduction of this doll actually has that ponytail head sculpt, that early ponytail head sculpt, and she just did not look that accurate whenever you compare her to an original copy. And this doll looks far more better than that doll. Like this doll, I actually want to fix up and dress her up and play with her. You know, the other one, I got over the fact that she had a bum leg, but I didn't really like her that much. She also had platinum hair, and this one has a more original golden blonde, which still looks very nice on her as well. So let's go ahead and get her out of this costume, and then we can see exactly what this Barbie looks like outside of her astronaut uniform. They did a very good job construction-wise. Bill Greening always gave us the best that he could do with what he was given. So let's go ahead and just look at the doll as she is right now. That's a pretty nice looking doll, if you ask me. There's her markings on the back, 2025. So this must be a new mold. They must have revised this American Girl bendable leg doll mold. The arms on this one are a lot more accurate than the earlier reproduction doll, who did not have the individual fingers. These arms actually might be new as well, because they look a little bit better than many of the other reproduction arms that we've gotten. Okie dokie, Barbie. We're just gonna put you right back there. You can hang out there in the background as we look at your reproduction costume. So here we have the Barbie costume, all taken apart. And we've got the Barbie logo down here, Barbie Repro by Mattel. This might even have a different reproduction Barbie placement on here. It's definitely a different tag. This is like a printed satin ribbon. We've got a working zipper. The material is far more glittering in person than what it might appear on camera. Not sure if that's translating well. It's not as matte as it looks, I will say. Here we go. See all the details on this garment. And I'm okay with this being printed on. It was originally printed on. Again, you know, even back in the 60s, they did have some printed on details like this right here, this panel. But this, I think we can be okay with. If this was made today, I fear that all of this detail would have been printed on, even the zippers and everything. But this is a very well constructed outfit. Like, even if you're not getting this for the doll itself, the outfit alone is pretty nice. And I would imagine that it fits your vintage Barbies as well as it does your reproduction Barbies. So let's do a comparison actually of the quality between the reproduction Barbie outfits. Here we have my original reproduction astronaut Barbie outfit. We can already tell that it has a different zipper right in front. Now, I will say this is my childhood outfit. So if it is not the cleanest and most sparkly, that is probably why. This is from my childhood. I played with this on many a Barbie. The fabric does definitely look a little bit different, but no stickiness on the sleeves on this version. And one thing we can see that is different are the loops over here are made of a thinner elastic than what they are over here. And also the zipper right here. This new zipper is different than this old zipper, which this old zipper is more indicative of the vintage 60s Barbie outfits. We have a logo right there in the center this time. So this is how you could also tell what version your Barbie costume is. Is it going to be this version right here? Or is it going to be the version that has the tag on the inside? The one that has the tag right over here on the inside will be the 2025 Miss Astronaut Barbie costume. And the one that has this kind of tag right here, this other reproduction tag, will be the earlier reproduction astronaut Barbie costume. But they're made very similarly. Let's go into the helmets. So this is another thing that happened to my doll. My doll also came with a cracked helmet, which you can see right there. It's something she's always had. But they used a very flimsy plastic, which I would imagine is very accurate for the 60s Mattel costume. This one is the OG reproduction. Here's the new one. The new one's plastic is actually a thicker, harder plastic. You would be hard pressed to crack this, like this one came cracked. However, I will say that right here, mine is already cracked. It's cracked right here where they put it onto the plastic piece. I don't know if mine is the only one cracked. I don't know if it had to be cracked for it to fit properly onto the helmet itself. That is mystery, but it's on the inside, and that's just if I'm gonna be nitpicky. Let's go on to the gloves. Here we have the original reproduction gloves right here. And here we have the 2025 reproduction gloves. They look very similar. However, the OG reproduction dolls are more textured, like they would have been in the 60s, than what these are. They're still textured, but not as much. It is so difficult to match fabrics and materials that are this old. Okay, like that was 60 years ago. And everyone says this, but they don't make things like they used to, and sometimes it's for a reason. So they tried their hardest to give us something similar. It's not completely accurate, but they tried to give us something similar. Let's go to the American flag itself. Here's my OG Reproductions flag. As you can see, this one has been through it. This one looks like it has been to Mars, you know? And then here we have the new one. It's night and day, to be honest with you. They're very similar. Okay, the piece de resistance, the boots. Here we go. The OG Reproduction gave us actual reproduction boots with real working zippers. Just like that. This is an added effort. This is very meticulous. I don't blame them for not wanting to go the extra mile to do the boots like this. Let's just look at them side by side. So we'll take new boot, old boot. You know, like say what you want about the new boot. Lord knows I will say a lot about it.
They were old maiden type of shoes.
But I will say that the older boot is not really practical. It doesn't really stay on your doll's feet that much. And it can be a little bit of a pickle to zipper it up whenever you've got the cuff stuffed in there, I will say. This presentation-wise might look nice on a display. It might be easier if you were to buy this, say, for your kid, than rather to use this. Because again, when I was a kid, I went after the vintage reproduction dolls because I couldn't afford the real ones. So that's what I mainly played with. But yeah, there's the OG boot. They were made differently. They were made at different times. Barbie was a different doll back when I was a kid. Whenever I got my original reproduction Barbie, she was a different doll. She is a different doll today. She has different values. They try to give the brand different values, so she is going to be different in quality and looks. But at least this doll does look nicer than the former reproduction that they gave us. I personally purchased this reproduction for the doll itself. I'm super pleased with the doll. However, I would have liked it if she had a mani-pedi, because that's what she originally would have come with. And the OG doll, reproduction doll, did come with those things. So again, you know, like there's a give and take. And unfortunately, I guess the budget didn't call for the painted nails, or maybe they thought no one's going to take this doll out and redress her except for, you know, crazy people like me.
It's true.
Many have asked, why do another reproduction of this Barbie costume? To answer that, we should really go back to understand what it was to be a little girl in that era. Back in a time where the most popular toy for girls were still baby dolls. Despite being a mother, caretaker, or wife, there really were no career-driven toys designed specifically for girls. That is until a little fashion doll made her way on the scene.
Barbie, you're beautiful. You make me feel my Barbie doll is really real.
With her, you could be a fashion designer, nurse, singer, executive, a flight attendant, stewardess, a ballerina, and even a teacher. With Barbie, you had the unique opportunity to play with careers that may not have even been available to women at that time, such as astronaut. You finally had a chance to dream and reach for the stars. 60 years ago when this costume was produced, it was considered fantasy. Women being in space just was not in a lot of people's minds at that time. Fast forward 60 years later and we have many female astronauts. This costume is no longer considered fantasy. Unfortunately, it's our reality. This costume, provided by Mattel and many others like it, still prove to this day that we girls can do anything. We are so much more than what is expected of us. And when we stand together, there's no one stronger, smarter, more resilient, and especially there's no one more fabulous. Thank you all so much for watching, and a big thank you to billgreening. Your designs have touched so many and inspired so many creators and designers. You will always be Barbie to me, and you will always be in my heart and in my collection, and I'm truly excited to see what you do next. I'm sure it won't be anything short of fabulous. Stay tuned for a big new video coming soon. I hope it will rock your socks off. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye.
We girls can do anything, right, Barbie? Astronaut Barbie. We can be the first in outer space. Fantastic fun in a far-out place. Then for a change of pace, we know a spacey spot where this mini will look real hot. We girls can do anything, right, Barbie? Astronaut Barbie.
New from Mattel.